what are some sort of like maintenance standards as well that we would like to see at a minimum?
Sure. So, at Fairdinkum, our kind of our number one core service is proactive maintenance. And why it's so important is because, you know, a network or systems could feel like, hey, everything works fine, nothing breaks all the time, and really they're just kind of, if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of mentality. But what happens there is there starts to be buildup over time. Things don't get maintained, the security flaws, there's improper maintenance, permissions get left behind again. We kind of repeat the same things because these really are kind of the core uh, parts of maintaining a network. So with improper maintenance, what eventually happens is there's kind of a catastrophic event where now it's, fire alarm kind of fire deal where everything is down, and because there's no maintenance done prior, you're starting back from zero. It's a lot harder to bring those systems back up or resolve issues if the maintenance wasn't being done from the beginning. You can run into issues where something is so out of date that a vendor won't support it any longer, or the security flaws are just so out of date that your insurance company isn't going to cover it because of that reason. So really, just maintaining those systems on a scheduled basis, keeping them up to date. Not only does it prevent issues from occurring in general, B, it makes sure that you're up to spec on all your other, insurance providers, or your clients and partners might have certain thresholds that you have to stay within as well that you're not meeting. So really the core of it is maintaining, and that's really what all MSP or external IT providers should be doing, is the maintenance portion, at the very least, is what needs to be done.
Yep, it's the maintenance that keeps the system's uptime as maximum as it can be, and that reduces the security risks as well. Mm-hmm. We see all the time, this is just one quick example, but if a company's not paying attention to these things, the firmware on their devices is way out of date. What does that mean? That means that there are likely security vulnerabilities in that appliance or that piece of software that malicious actors are actively trying to exploit. Mm-hmm. And if one would simply keep up with the licensing or the updates on a regular basis and the other type of maintenance, you wouldn't have that problem. And so, yeah, maintenance is really a core component. There are so many aspects to it, but if you think of just the drive space example, let's say you have a bunch of servers and all of a sudden they crash and everything is down. Why? Because it rapidly ran out of drive space and nobody noticed. Well, mm-hmm. That's not going to happen if you're paying attention and doing proper maintenance.
Yeah, and really maintenance and doing that proactive maintenance was the driver for our quarterly business reviews. Because when you're doing proper maintenance, there's a lot less client issues, and there's a lot less than kind of face-to-face time with the client, because you're not focused so much on putting out fires, that things are running smooth and at kind of peak performance, that we institute those quarterly business reviews so that we can get that one-on-one time with our clients, show them what maintenance is being done, and then again, letting them know what we plan for the future to make sure those systems stay maintained. That really comes all within that QBR. And again, if we weren't doing that proper maintenance, there's a lot more not so nice conversations that are happening because of the issues of that lack of maintenance. So yeah, we'll go back to maintenance really being the core of it, and what we do on a daily basis for all of our clients.
Yeah, it's like keeping tabs on all the different systems that we have and that we want to look over, make sure as well we're aware of end of life announcements for devices mm-hmm. that even can't be, because all devices eventually they're not supported anymore. So being aware and being able to help out with budgeting ahead of time, because some electronics just aren't that cheap to deal with. So mm-hmm. we want to say, give a little bit of a heads up saying, hey, this $2,000 bill might be coming, down the line. So if you can kind of start to try to budget for it, it might be a little bit easier to take out.
Absolutely. I mean, one great example of that right now is the upcoming expiration of Windows 10. We've been telling our clients for more than a year that it was coming up, so that those who need to can plan for whether it's new computer purchases or in-place upgrades. And this is something that a lot of people are going to kind of get caught last minute with, if without realizing or without knowing. But a place like Fairdinkum and IT providers, yeah, doing maintenance, we're going to keep track of all that. As John said, at these quarterly meetings, we bring that up with the client. We show them exactly what's going on and just make a plan to address it. And we really find that when all this maintenance is done and is performed, that the client's uptime of their systems really is quite solid.